So this has to be one of the worst case situations. I had a call, and what happened is he moved, so he changed his address, and he got a tax bill at his home. He could not retrieve it because his address had changed. He did all the necessary follow-ups, but for some reason, he got the tax bill at the previous location. There were some penalties that he wasn't aware of. That kept accumulating, multiplying, and then eventually it went into the millions. They canceled his passport. He couldn't renew it. And I'm not going to talk about which country this is. Smart people know which country I'm talking about. And then eventually what happens is typically it starts off with a civil matter, depending upon the amount of penalties, and they quickly multiply, and quickly, let's say a 10K moves to 100K, moves to $1 million. And then with the intention, and they decide your intention, right? At some point they say, nope, you intentionally did it. And if that's the case, it's not in your control all the time. And if that changes to a criminal matter, then you're locked out of any residency, any passport. No other country is going to let you in. So let's say you want to move to Europe till you resolve the situation. Guess what? You cannot, because no one is going to let you even travel for a vacation. And that's the reason why, for such situations, I'm going to discuss a couple of other situations as well. But what I really want to cover in this video is a couple of low hanging fruits, residencies that you absolutely must add while they're available. And some are literally almost free, some actually pay you. So I'm going to cover top three residency permits that you should think about adding right now before they change the terms. And what I'm also going to discuss is at least two or three passports, and quick passports, immediate passports. I'm going to rate them from top one, top two, top three. Those are the ones that a lot of people want to focus on. And these passports are quick, and time is of essence because you don't know when shit hits the fan. You want to be prepared before that, not after. Once it goes beyond that point, once wrong things have happened, then you're locked out. Then it's almost impossible to secure any of these options. But I'm going to discuss these options in the second half. What are some other situations that people get caught globally in the different situations that happen? Let's take an example. A woman caught driving in Saudi Arabia prior to 2018. Now it's fine, she can drive it. But let's say she was caught prior to 2018, a crime was registered. That doesn't mean that crime goes away. Even if now it's allowed, they don't retroactively allow these things, right? If you were caught, you're facing criminal charges, then you're locked out. One example. Second example would be, let's say a gay couple got caught, and this happens all the time, in the wrong country, gets accused of criminal activity, being gays, right? Gets charged, becomes a criminal, and then all of the countries are not going to see what your criminal charge is. Although they celebrate a gay couple, they would, in some countries they do that, which is a good thing, right? And because you have a criminal charge, now those good countries are not going to give you options. They're going to say, nope, we don't care. You have a criminal record, you're locked out. People get framed all the time. Let's say you fill out an insurance claim incorrectly. It was a genuine mistake. Unintentionally, you entered something incorrectly. They decide your intention. They say, nope, based on the amount, we want more money. Your intentions are bad. Guess what? It's not your problem. You can't do much about it. It's your problem. And there you go. All your options are dead right there. Then same thing can happen with taxation. Same thing can happen with anything. You get into an accident, you give your version of the story. Someone alleges that, well, you're lying, and they decide you're lying. You have the money. If they have the opportunity, then you're pretty much gone. And that's where these residencies and citizenships, top three residencies, top three citizenships, and you can combine, you can create a layering solution. Before I discuss these important vital options, if you're new to my channel and if you haven't yet subscribed, please take a moment and check your subscription and turn it on. It'll do a huge favor. It'll help me get you valuable information, analysis, and breaking news on time. Now, first, let me start off with the residencies. What are the top three residencies? The objective or the intention of getting these residencies or passports should be that you're not just getting access to one country, you're getting access to a broader region. So, for example, if you get a Mercosur nationality from one Mercosur country, it opens up five vital countries. So yes, you get one citizenship, but you actually get access lifelong settlement rights in 5 countries. That changes the dynamics. So for example, let's start off with Mercosur. If you get one of those citizenships, you have Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, Chile, Peru. You have solid access around that entire block. You cover almost all of South America with that one nationality. So intentionally, you're pursuing the best, the safest, the cheapest option in Latin America, which gets you the safety, which gets you the tax advantages in the interim, right? It's a paper residency, does not physically require you to set foot or stay there for too long. Where you enter once in every 2 years or once in every 3 years, you're satisfying the residency. And let's say you are looking for the citizenship, then you do the minimum physical presence if you're serious about getting the nationality, and then you can apply for citizenship. So that's one example. Second great example would be an EU nationality or an EU citizenship. You have one EU passport, you have access to 28 EU countries. So they can't stop you, they can't block you, even if you have a situation going on, because you have the ultimate right of a citizenship from an EU country. You have 26 to 28 countries in your pocket. So that's the advantage of the second. You want a GCC options, you have access to 5 or 6 different GCC countries. If you add 3 or 4 strategic citizenships to your portfolio, if you're naturalized in some of these countries, then you're secure for life. You and your family is completely secure for your life. Now, what are the residencies? The top residency, the best residency where you're planting the fruit and this nicely blossoms, is the country of Uruguay. This is one of the most beautiful countries, safe countries, friendly immigration, no political drama, and a lot of people speak in English in this country. It has a paper residency, direct, permanent residency, and yes, you can acquire your Mercosur citizenship from this country. And we have a team established in Uruguay. They take care of all the things that are needed. If you have a visa-free access, you simply land in Uruguay, spend 3 days with our team doing different things with different offices. You have the tax ID, you have the cedula, you have the PR. So it does take time. Once you complete your procedure, you get interim ID cards, you can leave, and then after a couple of months, you get your final permanent residency. This is worth its weight in gold. It is a golden visa in effect, but you are not paying any golden visa fees. All you're showing is a monthly income of $1,200. Could be from salary. Yes, salary qualifies. So almost everyone watching qualifies for this one. This is the right time to take action at any point in time, right? You want to start any of these options or all these options, you can always click the link. We can have a quick chat, get you started with Uruguay, and then package that with other ones in the region. So you're killing multiple birds with one stone. And then also because you're combining, you're using the same set of documents, you're getting all the applicable discounts. It becomes a lot easier to accomplish a lot in one go. And this is the right time, in my opinion, to do this. And this is not legal immigration or tax advice. This is simply my personal opinion. The next one on this list is Panama. I love Panama because Panama offers a direct program with this special temporary residency, which gives you a passport. And because this is not a citizenship based passport, you're not sharing the citizenship level information with these people. It's a lightweight layer. It gives you the ability to travel using this passport and reduces or eliminates the headache of providing all the information for your citizenship purposes, because this is not a citizenship based passport. The other option is a direct permanent residency in Panama. Dateless, lifelong permanent residency only requires you to enter the country once in every 3 years. So very easy to manage this option. And that's why I feel Panama is a low-hanging fruit. Offers all the territorial tax advantages. Uruguay offers tax advantages. Panama offers tax advantages. Once you become a citizen in Panama, whenever and if you become a citizen in Panama, you can replace that temporary passport with an actual citizenship-based passport. So there are multiple use cases with that option. That's the second best residency. I feel the third best residency is Mexico. Simply show some qualifying income, right? You get a temporary residency, and if you show qualifying higher income, higher threshold, you get permanent residency. I have detailed videos on Mexico and the qualifying criteria. If you've missed the most important video on Mexico, you can return and take a look at this video, discuss this in a lot of detail. Also have an interview with my Mexican attorney where she talks about how quickly the citizenship is possible with this option. The fourth best option in this region is Paraguay. Again, a very important residency for tax purposes. Land in Asuncion, We have a team dedicated to this process. Spend a couple of days, pick up your residency, and off you go to your next destination. Uruguay and Paraguay can be nicely packaged together. I had my head of legal on this channel talk about how to sequence this correctly. If you have missed that all important coverage with my head of legal for Uruguay, you can return and take a look at this video. Now, let's shift gears and talk about direct passports. A lot of people, yes, they'll add the residencies and they would ideally like to tag these residencies to different strategic passports. But if you want a quick passport, when I say quick, it's 30 to 90 days, right? That's how fast you want a passport. Now, some take longer, but most of these ones that I'm discussing would take between 30 and 90 days. And I've narrowed this down to just three best options. A lot of people, they know, okay, there are 10 or 12 options. We don't want to hear about all of them. We are sick and tired. I want a narrowed down short list where you're picking three passports which absolutely makes sense for different people. If you want to listen to my analysis, why I feel others don't make much sense in 2026 and why these three really shine in 2026, you can return and take a look at this video. I've done the comparison and narrowed it down to these three. The first one that I'd like to talk about is Grenada. So out of all the five Caribbean, Grenada makes a lot of sense because it's outside the hurricane belt. So you have climate on your side. The second is actually livable. It's safe. It's English speaking. So it has all those advantages. The second is it's the most powerful passport out of all the CBIs that are available. It gets you the EU access. It gets China, Russia, and Western access on the same passport. That's a rare combination. You don't have any other CBI that gives you China. It does have that E2, although E2 to the US has become slightly more difficult. You got to prove your domicile in Grenada, which may be possible for some people, may be impossible for others, but it still has that advantage. So Grenada is good for people who want to have more access. If you have a poor passport, you come from a third world country, you don't have any option to travel freely. So for that reason, Grenada might be a good option. Who is Grenada not good for? Grenada is not good for people who are looking for privacy, who are looking for preserving that data. They don't want this country to share data with their home country. They want to protect their information, keep it private. Now, some of these programs work as data aggregation tools. They want to connect the dots. They want to solve all the puzzles. They want to collect all the rich information from you, compile, aggregate it, and then supply it back to your home country. Now, for some people that works, they don't care, that makes no difference. But for other people, especially from Western countries with strong passports, this type of stuff does not work. What I particularly don't like about Grenada is that it asks you for PCCs and documentation since the time you were 18. So other programs, they'll ask you for the last 6 months. Some programs ask you for the last 10 years. But going back to when you were 18 is a little too much to ask for. Now, some people might be fine with that. Other people might have an objection to providing that much information. And some people might simply not qualify since the time they were 18. Maybe there was a stupid mistake when you were 18. It's gone now, but still, you know what? It's going to haunt you here. So for that reason, Grenada would not check that box for some people. The second one checks the box for most people, and this is the zero tax advantage from Vanuatu. The passport itself can be done between 30 days to 90 days, sometimes more, but this is a straightforward option. It has a true real investment component of 50K. You get that back. So after deducting that, eventually you're looking at 115 for a family of four. So it comes down to like 30K for one passport. It's not a bad deal. It's pretty interesting. The fact that I like about Vanuatu is its application form and the due diligence. It only asks you for limited legally required information. It's not designed to trick you. It's not designed to put the puzzle together. It's not sharing information with other entities that it's not supposed to share that information with. So it's a private, protective, discreet citizenship with some decent access. Yes, it lost the EU access for a good reason, right? It did not want to share data with the EU countries, so it lost the access. But it does have strong access to Latin America and certain other countries which are very powerful, where you can enter and acquire other passports. For example, you can quickly then get the Panama travel passport from Panama. So yes, you have options, not direct options of getting the most powerful citizenship, but let's say you get the Vanuatu, go to Panama, pick up the Panama travel passport. It states your citizenship as Vanuatu. You don't care because all you care about is the access. So that could be an interesting combination that you can strike with Vanuatu. We have deals for Vanuatu. We have teams directly working with the government authorities. There's also packages that you can add, like a physical address, utility bill, a phone bill, just bank accounts that you can create remotely with this option. At any point in time, as I said, you're looking to start with a residency or a passport, you can always reach us and we can get you started. That's the second option, which I feel is picking up in demand. 2025 was heavily about Vanuatu, and 2026 is creating a stir, is creating a buzz. A lot of YouTubers are talking now positively about Vanuatu. So that's an interesting option to consider. The third one is the latest on the market, is the African nation of Sao Tome and Principe. 95K is the cost of the passport. Is one of the weakest passports in the world, but it has some limited use cases. If you want to learn more about what those use cases are, where this passport could be useful, you can return and take a look at this video. I've covered this extensively. But given the pricing, let's say Vanuatu effectively 115, STP effectively 95, does it make any sense to get STP when you're comparing this with Vanuatu? According to me, not really. I mean, just spend a couple of K more, get Vanuatu, get a much better solution in place than STP. STP is okay if you already have Vanuatu, but if you're picking one, then I think just spend slightly more, pick up Vanuatu. It might serve you long term better in the long term. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Out of these three, Grenada, Vanuatu, and STP, which CBI do you prefer and would you pick in 2026? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And before you go, if you're not ready for a direct citizenship and you're looking for a residency, a permanent residency, sitting in your couch right now, you want to initiate this in next 5 days to 25 days. If you're looking for that card mailed to you, right, and you're not even visiting this country, zero tax country, English speaking country, one of the most beautiful countries, a safe country. If you want to strike and you want to learn about this program, check this video out if you haven't seen it. Catch you in this one.